The light of truth has been refracted. Pardon me, I guess you've been distracted. I assumed you didn't see, or else you would have acted. Now all your concerns and dying words will be
redacted.
They snuck the censors in behind your mileage taxes. It's new school tactics put into action by an old school fascist who they portray iconoclastic. So keep the Black Lives Matter off your Twitter banner if you proudly voted for a man who's been a Jim Crow bigot since the end of the Jurassic. Joe wrote all the classics. Joe designed a crime bill with 80-something reasons you deserve a fate that's just the side of gassing. He wrote the book on lechery and passing. Half his works were plagiary, the other half inspired by the Klan's grandmasters. Joe's in bed with all those ancient racist bastards. He's been their golden boy since Thurman walked the earth, and we'll be feeling all the worst of his disasters for fucking centuries beyond the day he finally does the decent thing and fucks fully off to the hereafter. And I hope I've been wrong about religion all along, and the fate awaiting Biden smells of strong sulfuric acid. But knowing Biden, hell may prove to be the more impacted. Betcha this'll be the one that gets
redacted.
The window's closing as you try to let some light in, fighting for
redacted.
And the enemy is silence. Every man's a garbage patch, no man is an island, and there's never been a bigger piece of shit than Joe.
Redacted.
I'm so laid back. Got a cock that's a block, but my skin's not black.
My tongue is hard, long and veiny. I'll shoot you in the face like I'm Dick Cheney.
I'm cool, not a fool, stay sweet like Kool-Aid. Kick your ass to the grass, then you need a band-aid. I'm the bomb with your mom, what you want to get laid. Then skeet skeet to the Little Mermaid. Yeah, boy, roast beef, 2000.
What is this for? Roast beef.
Y'all ready for this? What? Now, just in case you haven't heard, we're the illest MCs to spit the word
from my MIC. And all the players and the pimps love TRB.
Don't mess with me, cause you know that I'm a badass mother like Aunt Jemima. I own the stage, don't act my age. On the list of best rappers on my top of the page.
Roast beefs, don't you know we're the head of the class? Bitch, give us a test, no doubt we'll pass.
Bitch, drink Cristal, smoke some grass.
Bitch, fuck with the beefs, we'll kick your ass.
Bitch, try to stop the beefs, but you can't fight us.
Bitch,
Crush your bones like you got arthritis.
Bitch.
I turn records gold like I'm King Midas.
Bitch.
My rhymes are sick like they got hepatitis.
Bitch.
Chiefs are back, go tell your mom. We were hiding like Saddam, but now we're here and still the bomb. The roast beef's got it going on. Roast beefs are back, go tell your mom. We were hiding like Saddam, but now we're here and still the bomb. The roast beef's got it going on. Now, Mr. Armstrong, what's your deal? If I reached in your shorts, what would I feel? Like a bicycle with just one wheel. You got one ball like Lucille.
Scarlett Johansson,
Come on, Electra, Jessica Simpson, I wanna sex you.
come on over, start relaxing.
We'll have a sleepover like Michael Jackson. Shake your ass and get me harder. I'm the engine and you're the starter.
If you want it in the ass, girl, get some lube. Cause my dick is harder than a Rubik's Cube.
It's B.O.B. on the MIC. I'm the illest rapper you ever did see. But I'm just one of the three. No worldwide as TRB. Roast beefs are back, go tell your mom. We were hiding like Saddam, but now we're here and still the bomb. The roast beefs got it going on. Roast beefs are back, go tell your mom. We were hiding like Saddam, but now we're here and still the bomb. The roast beefs got it going on. That's it, that's the song.
In the immediate aftermath of 9/11, we did some things that were wrong. We did a whole lot of things that were right.
We've taken control of the oil in the Middle East, the oil that we're talking about.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create.
We choose truth over facts.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. The foothills of the Himalayas.
Television. We are fighting Satan himself.
Journalists, ask them the question! Ask them! Ask them! Ask them!
Agreed that everybody, once they inside, they should. Anyway, my time's up. America's dead.
Ho, ho, ho. That's a weird.
America's dead and Crab is back.
That's right. Back from the Balkans. The Balkans.
Back from the Vulcans.
I did 4 countries.
Nice.
So, but technically 4. I was in Switzerland for like labor for like an hour. No, like
nice.
In total, like 5. Yeah, no. The only thing that's like really to take away. I mean, I tweeted about it too, but like around like towards the end, I had like a little bit of a cold, and I was like aware of like the healthcare system in Croatia, the EU, and I knew like a long time ago my dad got like got seen by a doctor like pretty cheap. This time I was sick like towards the end, and it was like just getting really annoying. I went to go see a doctor. I waited maybe like 45 minutes, and I just literally just went to like a cafe and just like drank coffee, and then walked away with a script for antibiotics. Went to the pharmacy. I didn't spend more than 30 euros, and I'm just like trying to imagine like what if I didn't have health care in the United States, and like how much that would cost me. Just the price of antibiotics alone. Like if you paid like market price for it, that'd be like $100.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, American healthcare is weird because, like, the way it's
Like,
become
so
such a
you tell me, like,
for-profit.
if you're a Canadian citizen, how much, what kind of healthcare what are you looking at for healthcare?
Most of it's covered. We do pay for some meds, but they're pretty
So
cheap.
I'm
I've
saying,
looked.
like, let's say I'm a dual. You have dual citizenship over there, obviously, right?
Dual
Canadian.
citizen.
Like, let's say I'm a Japanese Canadian, right? But I live in Japan. But I have family in Canada. I go to Canada, but I'm a dual citizen in Canada. I just don't have any health insurance at all.
Mm-hmm.
What am I looking at if I get sick with a doctor and I want like a prescription? Like how much?
If you have citizenship
USD?
with Canada, just for like antibiotics, I'm trying to
But a
think.
doctor's
what I
visit too.
paid.
A doctor's visit. You're
Doctor's
paying out of
visit's
pocket
free.
for everything.
Doctor's visit's free. Antibiotics, I think I paid like
Completely free.
$14. Yeah,
Okay.
you go to
So
see
you
the
have it better
doctor.
than you guys have it better than like most of Europe actually. I don't know about the wait times, but that's the other thing that right wingers complain about a lot. We're like, or that's like what I hear. It's like, oh, but they have to wait like a long time. I waited like 45. I waited like the same amount of time you'd wait in the same fucking like a fucking doctor's office.
So I've kind of compared because
But dude,
one of the
$5
copes
for
that
antibiotics, I could not like without insurance. I was like, dude, I imagine.
So one of the copes a lot of Americans have about Canada is they're like, oh yeah, you have free healthcare, but like the wait times, am I right? But I remember a while ago, I actually compared them, and they're comparable, at least with like an emergency room visit. I've never had to wait anything crazy long. The only issue is specialists. I don't know what the wait is to see a specialist in America. And if anybody in the chat can tell me if the wait time to see a specialist in America is pretty long. Because up here in Canada,
I mean,
it's
I'm in
long,
America.
but
It's not like at. I mean, it's about 20 minutes. What do you mean? Like, what do you?
no,
It
like
depends on what you're
okay,
like. What's a specialist to you? Like, what do you mean?
okay. So all right, I'm gonna get apologies in advance, chat. I'm gonna get nerdy. I'm kind of like a medical sort of nerd.
I kind of understand what you're
Okay.
saying.
Okay. So you go see your GP. All right. He does, or an internist, even better,
GP.
way better, an internist. You go see an
What's a GP?
internist, like general practitioner, like a doc, just a
Okay.
random,
Oh, okay.
just a normal doctor. He isn't multi-class in anything. He's just a level 10 fighter doctor. Wait, he's a doctor.
Okay.
No, wait. If he was a doctor, he'd be a cleric. He wouldn't be a fighter. Okay, back up. So you see a level. Wait, but then what would the specialist be? Okay.
He would be a support.
Okay, I'm just gonna. Okay, so
He would just be a support, like healer shaman,
shaman. You get
like a
wind
level
theory?
10 shaman. Yeah.
Okay. Let's.
He'd be a
I'm gonna
priest,
restart it.
too.
Okay, so you know when you go to see like just your doctor, your family doctor, and you know you.
Yeah.
Let's say like I don't know, he diagnoses you with
Ball sack
porphyria. Or, okay, ball sack cancer. So you got ball sack cancer. You got the dreaded ball sack cancer. You got you got ball sack cancer.
You got the ball cancer.
Yeah, too many interactions with couches or whatever have you. But I had to. So
there's so much fake shit going around this election, but I love it all.
It's beautiful. Okay, so your general. My point is the general practitioner. Once you got the ball sack cancer, then he refers you to an endocrinologist. So in America, how long is the wait from like the ball sack cancer with the normal doctor, the referral to the endocrinologist? How long do you have to wait? Because up here,
like,
it's
so
pretty
it depends
long.
on like how. So it depends on like how like emergency it is. I mean, like usually like if this is like a if we're talking like if we're actually talking about ball site cancer, they probably put you like into like someone else like who's like a specialist like in the hospital right away. But if we're talking about something like literally anything else, like if I have a broken foot, if I have like um like a mental issue, or if I have like a um, like a weird spot on my leg that I just want to check out, or if I'm like waiting for an exam, I have to schedule that shit. We all have to schedule that shit like a week in advance.
So, like, how long is the wait usually to see a specialist?
Like 2 weeks. Like maybe like it depends how much they're booked, but like sometimes they could see you in like a week. It depends on the that certain specialist, but like at least like a week.
Oh, yeah. So it's about the same up here. But again, also it's priority. Like if it's a minor issue, if I go to a doctor and I'm like, I have the itchiest asshole I have ever had in my life, I'm scratching it with a comb, doc. Then he's probably gonna be like, okay, I'll send you to go see a proctologist, I suppose, but you're not pooping blood or anything. So
yeah, poop blood.
Yeah, that's more of a like months up here. It's months. But the problem is like the main issue we have with specialists up here is it's literally just like not enough specialists. Up in Canada, we've got an issue with nurses currently. We just don't have enough people like serving as nurses. 2 weeks to a month for me personally, Angel. Yeah, exactly. Same thing up here in Canada, except it's free. So we got a shortage of nurses. We do have a shortage of doctors. I'm sure the shortage of nurses got way better after we fired all of them for not doing certain medical procedures, let's call it. But yeah, it's about the same. Anyway, welcome to Politically Homeless. We are back.
Yeah.
We are so fucking back.
Yeah, no, this is a good transition to the something news today, actually.
We are transitioning.
Yeah. This is what a transition looks like. I suddenly don't like this background. But
the World Health Organization, it's cut off a bit.
The WHO
there we go. Perfect.
Is sending 1.2 polio vaccines to Gaza.
Wow. Well, they must just care a lot about Palestinians, right?
Because we can trust them. I think there's some. I think it's a reputable, organization that. I forgot we're on Kick. We have a Kick right now, right?
We do. I also have a Kick, and I have 1 million followers right now.
No, you don't.
I do. I just for that, it's 2 million.
Okay, I really have to use. I have to start checking out Kick more because like.
I think I literally have 1 follower. Hold on, I'll check. I'm pretty sure it's 1 follower.
Who made this again? Who's the owner?
Who made the Kick? Indie. I definitely did. Oh, I have 2 followers.
No,
baby.
Not that.
What?
Like, who's the owner of the company, like the Kick, the streaming website? I mean, it's in beta, so.
It's this guy named Klaus. I don't know him very well.
Trainwreck TV.
I'm sure he's fine though.
I've heard of
him.
He's from Arizona. This guy's background. Anyway, the World Health Organization plans to announce 1.2 million polio vaccine doses to Gaza amid fears of polio outbreak after the virus was detected in wastewater. How does that happen? Over the past 10 months, Israel has destroyed all of Gaza's wastewater treatment plants and most of Gaza's sewage pumps. WHO says it's aiming to vaccinate 600,000 Palestinian children under the age of 8 and repeated its calls for a ceasefire, saying that its medical staff need absolute freedom of movement to administer the vaccines.
Oh, come on. I mean, listen, I know they're doing a genocide, but do you really think they'd commit biological warfare against these people? Wait, that's like a genocide staple. Like, forgetting we live in an empire of evil.
It's an interesting question, and I kind of wish I had a little bit more time to deep dive into this, but there is some like really excellent reporting on this going on online. It's been Ben Swan. This video I wanted to show. This one came out today, but this is crazy. This is insane.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking like a country like Trumpers freaked out over the China virus. What are they going to think about this? Just watch.
The people of Palestine have now been under a barrage of attacks for over 300 days. The people in Gaza are facing starvation, dehydration, and now the spread of rare diseases due to Israel's humanitarian aid blockade and the deliberate targeting of civilian infrastructure such as water treatment facilities. Recently, a soldier from the IDF's 601st Combat Engineering Battalion posted a video on his Instagram account showing his explosives unit blowing up the Tal Sultan water facility in Rahaf, the destruction of the Tal Sultan water reservoir in honor of Shabbat. The soldiers in this video seem to be carrying out a strategy that has been explicitly articulated by the Israeli government. In an op-ed, the former head of Israel's National Security Council and current military advisor, Giora Eland, made it crystal clear that manufacturing a crisis by creating conditions for disease to spread was a priority of the Israeli military in Gaza. He wrote this, quote, "The international community warns us of a humanitarian disaster in Gaza and of severe epidemics. We must not shy away from this. Severe epidemics in the south of the Gaza Strip will bring victory closer and reduce casualties among IDF soldiers."
This man straight up suggesting this is an IDF military advisor saying that we should spread a plague in Gaza.
Community warns us of a humanitarian disaster in Gaza and severe epidemics. We must not shy away from this. Severe epidemics in the south of the Gaza Strip will bring victory closer and reduce casualties among IDF soldiers, end quote. The country's finance minister and Netanyahu's right-hand man shared an article and said this, quote, "I agree with every word." Well, last week it was announced that polio, one of the most contagious viruses on Earth, which 99% of the world, including Gaza, has entirely eradicated, was found in Gaza's water and sewage. And get this, the World Health Organization is now coming to the rescue with 1 million polio vaccines. Isn't that great? No, not really. See, the polio vaccine that the World Health Organization is sending to Gaza is a type of polio vaccine that the United States and other countries don't use anymore because it actually causes more issues than it solves. Namely, it causes polio. The WHO is sending 1 million doses of the OPV, or oral polio vaccine. The oral polio vaccine contains a live polio virus. This live virus can replicate inside the intestines and spread in places with poor sanitation and plumbing. That means people can contract the virus from the vaccine virus. Now listen to this. In recent years, according to Science magazine, more children have been paralyzed by the vaccine strain of the virus than by wild polio itself. In an interview with NPR, professor of microbiology Raul Andino said this, quote, "It's actually an interesting conundrum. The very tool you are using for polio eradication is causing the problem." In 2005, Oxford's Clinical Infectious Diseases periodical contended that the polio outbreaks in China, Egypt, Haiti, and Madagascar were also caused by the OPV, declaring that the time is coming when the only cause of polio is likely to be the vaccine used to prevent it. In 2009, the Clinical Infectious Diseases Journal published another article stating that the OPV is not only giving kids polio, but also seems to be ineffective in stopping polio transmission to begin with. In Syria, Bill Gates-backed vaccine organization called Gavi pledged $25 million for polio immunization in 2016. A year later, the WHO reported that 58 children in Syria had been paralyzed by the vaccine-derived form of the virus. The international community is desperately struggling to deliver water and food to Gaza, and yet it has successfully provided 1 million vaccines to combat polio. This would be commendable if the vaccines were effective. They're not. Scientific evidence repeatedly shows that these particular vaccines actually cause polio outbreaks. But promoting the spread of disease, according to IDF officials, is a strategy that Israel is embracing in order to defeat Hamas. In our next episode of Reckoning, Israel and Gaza will explore the...
So
just a quick note. Okay, quick note here. Oh, thanks, babe.
We're talking about a country. I've never.
Sorry.
I mean, the thing is like there's nothing that's like ever existed in like this in the history of I think world history of just a country to act with pure impunity to the point where they're just releasing viruses. Which I've seen reports that there actually is no polio, and that there is that there's polio, but it's like mixed with like indeterminates of like it's like a whole bunch of toxins. They have a bunch of shit mixed in there, but they're not all drinking that. They know that they're not stupid. They're not. Yeah.
A quick note here. I want everybody in the chat, real quick, to go into Google and type the Qatar incident, because this has happened before. This happened at the beginning, actually. The Qatar incident was a situation where America's first polio vaccine, coming out of Qatar laboratories, actually caused 40,000 cases of polio.
You want me to play a video?
40,000.
You want me to just play a video?
Sure, if you like.
I actually am not too familiar with this myself, and I'm interested. So, I'm just looking on YouTube and just seeing the couple of the first hits. This is just 10 minutes, so.
Totally up to you. I'm easy. Obviously.
Permanently paralyzed, their muscles emaciating until there was nothing left of them. Some died in their sleep, and even adults weren't spared. So when the news of a polio vaccine got to your ears, you sighed with relief. But in just 48 hours, 27 children would die or get paralyzed by the thing that was supposed to save them. What went wrong? How did the vaccine lead to one of the worst medical disasters in the history of America? In April 1955, a breakthrough in medicine was about to happen. It was revolutionary. The dreaded polio virus was about to meet its match in a vaccine developed by Qatar Laboratories. Qatar Laboratories at that time was a family-owned pharmaceutical company in Berkeley, California, founded by Edward Aaron Qatar in 1895. The company had grown and expanded over the decades. During World War II, it had huge government contracts for blood plasma and penicillin. By 1955, the Qatar Laboratories was one of the most deeply rooted pharmaceutical companies in the country, and it was about to deliver the people of America from the dreadful hands of the polio virus. The media was in a frenzy. Parents were ecstatic, and rightfully so. America had recorded over 57,000 cases of polio in 1952 alone that paralyzed 21,000 people and killed over 3,000 others. Between 1953 and 1954, over 70,000 people were infected. Polio survivors had to wear painful metal braces on their legs or be placed into iron lung respirators to breathe. There was no vaccine, no cure, and no hope. People were panicking, afraid to buy fruits at the grocery store or let their children play in public swimming pools. Some hospitals sprayed acid in the children's noses to block the virus, but all it did was ruin their sense of smell. In his 2005 book, The Qatar Incident, How America's First Polio Vaccine Led to the Vaccine Crisis, Paul A. Offit wrote, a national poll found that polio was second only to the atomic bomb as the thing that Americans feared most. But the highly anticipated vaccine would only make matters worse. About a third of the children injected with the vaccine got infected with polio, several of them dying or getting paralyzed in the process. Months of frenzied development to find a polio vaccine finally paid off in early 1955. Hundreds of boxes marked polio vaccine Rush, each containing thousands of tiny glass bottles filled with the much-awaited vaccine, were packed and ready for delivery. 5 drug companies, Eli Lilly, Park Davis, Weinth, Pittman Moore, and Qatar Laboratories, had started the mass production of this vaccine just a year earlier. The man to thank for this was Jonas Salk, who had successfully developed a procedure through which the polio virus was killed with formaldehyde, effectively creating an antidote. Salk had earlier tested the vaccine on himself, his wife, and their 3 children. On April 26, 1954, the vaccine proceeded to the field study stage. Randy Kerr, a 6-year-old second grader from Falls Church, Virginia, was the first to be injected with the vaccine in the cafeteria of the Franklin Sherman Elementary School in McLean. The study revealed that children who did not get the vaccine were 3 times more likely to be paralyzed with polio than those who did. When the study results were later revealed on April 12, 1955, it was nothing short of a miracle, and everybody wanted a jab for their children. The media got word of the vaccine and were breathless with excitement. The news made front-page headlines all over the country. On August 30th, 1954, Bernice E. Eddy, a veteran scientist at the National Institute of Health in Bethesda, made a shocking discovery about the vaccines developed in Qatar Laboratory. The vaccines designed to protect against polio had instead infected one of the test monkeys with polio. There could only be one explanation. The vaccine contained the live, infectious polio virus. A disaster was brewing, Eddy warned. But when you are the American government in the 1950s, and a field trial of a vaccine reveals that it was 80 to 90% effective in protecting against polio, and your people are anxiously awaiting this savior, what do? You ignore the warnings and grant a license for mass production of the vaccine. By April 1955, the vaccine hit the markets. To reward its employees for their...
Does that sound familiar? Everybody.
It's all recycled of the same pharma bullshit. We see it with the Sackler family, then we're seeing it with Pfizer, things like that. We just have
you ignore the warnings. You ignore the warnings, and you just move forward anyway. Anyway, not going to get into it. Don't want to get any weird labels.
There's no consequences. There's never consequences. When is there ever actual consequences?
I mean, how do you expect the government?
I'm telling you, like they could limit your travel. They could limit your space. They could limit your economic stability. They could limit your entertainment. They could limit a lot of things. But medical fascism is very scary. It's very scary. Once they start, the Nazis experimented on people like this. Yeah, this is how, just fucking vaccine, look at, They did a lot of testing in Africa. I forgot what that case was. That one's slipping my mind.
The Tuskegee experiment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So
this is just and this is just like for the sake of it. I mean,
well, the reality is the pharmaceutical companies own the government, and you can just go look it up. Go look at the biggest financial backers and contributors to go look up the biggest financial contributors to the American government. Look into the ties and stakes and invested interests the Canadian government has in the pharmaceutical industry. They're all working hand in hand. So why would anyone have any consequences? Why would there be any consequences for the pharmaceutical industry when they've compromised their politicians? Of course that's not going to happen. Anyway.
Despite Eddy's warnings, 380,000 doses of the vaccine were administered over the next 2 weeks. On April 27, 1955, the Epidemic Intelligence Service determined that the 120,000 doses of vaccine administered by Qatar Laboratories contained live polio virus. Immediately, the United States Surgeon General, Leonard Schill, issued a recall.
That's how the majority of viruses work. It's like usually like a dead virus. But I mean, live polio is pretty bad.
Yeah, they're really fucking around there. They're just like, you know what? Let's just...
I did read RFK's book. There wasn't a whole lot that I explicitly remember. I either listened to it or I just like skimmed through it. Not skim. I just like read fast and then like comprehend like 60% of it.
I read through all of it, and my conclusion was that RFK is a shitty Zionist shill.
Yeah, I mean that's
the biggest takeaway from that book, for me at least, was the fact that all of these like organizations, they essentially like create work for themselves, kind of. That's what I remember, but it was a while ago, and I think I read it when I was drunk, and yeah, it's a whole thing, because I read fast, too.
Well, vaccines, so I do know that vaccines are the only form of medication that don't, like, require, like, undergo, like, testing in order for it to be, like, legally distributed. Like, for example, like, if you're giving, like, if I were to give you, like, a SSRI or like a pain medication or anything like that. These are we're talking about drugs that require like multiple like peer-reviewed trials and years of research, right? And usually that's the case with vaccines, but granted, they're not required this same threshold of like you need to like have peer reviewed, it needs to be tested. A lot of the times vaccines, they're just kind of, I mean, there's a process, but it's very not like regular medication. It's much more smoother. It's much more experimental. And half the times, that's why you see fucking scandals like this.
Yeah. So, to Steelman, I hate to admit this, given his.
The problem is not vaccines themselves; it's that they're how uncontrolled they are.
Yeah. So, to Steelman RFK a bit, and I don't know if he's lying or telling the truth here, because RFK, you know, there's probably a bear lying around somewhere. But so to Steelman RFK a bit, he made a point in an interview, I forget which, but he's like, I'm not anti-vaccine. I just want them tested better. And that's kind of close to my perspective on vaccines. That's my position. I just want us to have better vaccines, which is why I criticize, for example, the recent vaccines. Because I want us to have better vaccines. That's it.
Dude, I wasn't going to wait. Dude, like, I thought it was crazy from the beginning that everyone decided, like, we're going to go just take a vaccine that's been around for 3 months and no one knows what it does. We're just going to wait and see. Like, I was blown away. Like, at that point, I was like, is everyone, are we just, like, heading towards a mass suicide event? What is this?
No, it's, so, here's the problem.
It became like a ritual, though. It became like, are you vaccinated? Yeah. And then you got shamed for it. That was a very big problem.
Yeah. So here's the problem. Yeah. There's a couple major problems with that. It wasn't to kind of give people like their proper due here. First off, it's like the whole world was locked down. Everybody was losing their minds. People had no social life. They couldn't do anything. Everybody was scared of COVID. They just wanted to get through this. So I get if, you know, you think that this was the thing that would bring us back to normal. Because a lot of people just wanted to get back to normal. That was kind of the framing. Secondly, let's be real here, there were kind of like major incentives to go along with it. For one, you know, like your source of income might have been threatened. Two, you know, your personal freedom and your mobility might have been threatened. So, you know, I think on paper, if they just said like, hey, we have this thing, we're not really sure like long term how it's going to do, but this is the best we can do right now. If you wanna roll the dice, go for it. If not, it's okay. I feel like the uptake would be much lower. But the problem is there was coercion. I don't know another word to describe it. There was coercion. There absolutely was. And at this point, you have to admit that. Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Call for all
Go ahead. I'm going to talk forever. Just go ahead. People are
Qatar
tired.
vaccines. At 10:38 a.m. on the same day, Qatar Laboratories in Berkeley, California, sent a telegram to health departments and drugstores across West and Midwest America saying, "Urgent, no further injections of Qatar polio vaccine are to be made. Immediately advise your physicians." But the damage had already been done. About 40,000 children injected with the Qatar vaccine came down with abortive or short-lived polio. They experienced fever, sore throat, headache, vomiting, and muscle pain. According to Offit, within 48 hours of the recall, Qatar's vaccine had paralyzed or killed 25 children, 14 in California, 7 in Idaho, 2 in Washington, 1 in Illinois, and 1 in Colorado. A situation that should have been the best event in the decade had turned into this horrific nightmare. Everyone panicked. Offit wrote, "It was one of the worst biological disasters in American history. It exploded the myth of the invulnerability of science and destroyed faith in the vaccine enterprise." Somewhere between Salk's laboratory and the syringes filled with the polio vaccine, something had gone wrong. But what was it? The polio vaccine was not Jonas Salk's first rodeo. Since 1941, he had been elbow-deep in the search for influenza vaccines. After confirming that there were 3 strains of poliovirus, Salk set out to develop a vaccine by inactivating all 3 types of the virus with formaldehyde. His inactivation procedure involved 9 days of formaldehyde treatment, which would, in effect, kill the active virus. The problem with this procedure, according to Sven Gard, a virologist at the Karolinska Institute in Stockholm, was that in reality, at least 12 weeks of formaldehyde treatment was required for the active virus to become wholly inactivated. But the demand for the polio vaccine was too high. Children were dying. Even President Franklin D. Roosevelt had been paralyzed from the waist down due to a polio infection when he was 39. By February 1954, Salk had a 55-page protocol for developing a polio vaccine. Salk knew the risks involved with his procedure, but he believed that the manufacturing companies would follow his protocol as he intended and take the same precautions he had taken. He was wrong. The manufacturing companies cut down his 55-page vaccine production protocol to just 5 pages. On April 12, 1955, government officials gathered in a conference room to make a decision. Should licenses be granted for mass production of Salk's vaccine? The officials, including representatives of the Laboratory of Biologics Control Commission, quickly sifted through 2,000 pages of complex information regarding the vaccine. In less than 3 hours, they decided and concluded the meeting. That same day, the US government granted 5 companies the license to produce the polio vaccine. It turned out to be one of the worst decisions the government ever made, and in a few months, first and second graders and their families would pay dearly for it. Towards the end of April 1955, it had become clear that the vaccine was harmful. The doses were recalled, but 380,000 children had already been injected with it. In total, 220,000 children were infected with the potent polio virus from the vaccine, with 164 children severely paralyzed and 10 killed. It did not stop there. The failed vaccine unlocked a chain of transmission that led to a polio epidemic worse than America had ever seen. The manufacturing companies had used the Mahoney strain of the virus to produce the vaccines because it is the most dangerous, so when inactivated, it created the most antibodies after tests. This would have been a brilliant way to ensure the efficiency of the vaccine, but it became a serious problem once the vaccine failed. We now had thousands of children infected with the most potent strain of the already deadly polio virus. It explains why the results were so catastrophic. Qatar Laboratories had been negligent in so many ways. Because the vaccines were so desperately needed, they cut corners to haste the production process. The company almost completely ignored the protocol Salk had written regarding the manufacture of the vaccine. When other specialists like Eddie raised the alarm, Qatar conveniently failed to inform the officials in charge of licensing the vaccine of these concerns.
No shit. Oh my God. I can't believe they did that. It's so amazing that we never did that again. Thank goodness we learned from history.
It's really, I like that we learn our lessons in this country.
We learn our lessons. You know?
Between 1955 and 1957, Qatar Laboratories was sued for negligence and breach of implied warranty in about 60 court cases, with a total of $12 million in plaintiff claims. The company managed to avoid liability because the government was mostly to blame for the disaster. In the case of Gottsdanker versus Qatar Laboratories, the court ruled that Qatar was not negligent because most of the other companies producing the vaccine also had problems inactivating the virus. Also, the company had followed the protocols approved by the government, even though the protocols themselves were faulty. No one took the blame for the Qatar incident. Many officials were fired, and Qatar got all the bad publicity, but Qatar settled its case with $3 million, of which $2 million was covered by the company's insurance. The government began to issue more rigorous regulations for all vaccines after the Qatar incident. By 1962, 400 million doses of safe polio vaccine were administered, and the cases of polio in the US reduced significantly. Today, not many people remember the horror of the 1950s Qatar polio vaccine disaster, but for the people who were affected either directly or indirectly, the memories still linger.
Now,
What?
you
What?
may be
Oh my God, okay,
wondering,
fine.
if Israel's behind the polio epidemic, and I got my dog with me, if Israel's behind the polio epidemic, so if polio is just a natural occurring virus, how would you create polio? Now, there's some evidence behind that, which I do want to share this as well, because this is like, this is a piece by Vanessa Beeley, who I really respect.
Sorry, real quick. I forgot. I got distracted by the cat. I've crippling ADHD. I apologize. But real quick, Nahilo had a really interesting comment here. Is there some substance to the idea that polio had more to do with DDT and pesticide poisoning more than has been admitted? That's an interesting take.
Bring it up. Pull it up.
It's on YT, the YouTubes, as the kids say. Here.
Nilo?
That's interesting. Because there has been an argument that proper sanitation did more for eradicating disease than the actual immunizations. That's been an interesting argument as well. I think they both probably help. I'm not of the mind that introducing, just of how much I know about medicine and science, it can never hurt to expose your body to a pathogen. It will build immunity. It will. Unless we've been lied to about everything, this whole thing is a psyop, and reality is a simulation. The Anunnaki are actually just controlling everything from afar, and we were only biologically engineered to... No, I'm going way too tinfoil. Okay, sure.
It could. Toxicology versus virology. Rockefeller Institute and criminal polio fraud. This is an interesting piece to think about. Just to keep that in the back of the mind while theorizing, and there's no like hard proof evidence that Israel is involved in cooperation with the WHO to produce an artificial polio epidemic in order to sell vaccines and to kill more Palestinians.
Or sell genocide. That could be an angle as well. Oh, shit. Look at all the polio. That's why they're dying. Look at all this polio causes bullet wounds. Sorry.
Let's rewind back to early 20th century America for a moment.
Ew.
The most striking aspect of the entire polio saga in the USA during the first half of the 20th century was the fact that every key phase of business was controlled by people tied to what became the Rockefeller medical cabal. This fraud started with claims by the director of the Rockefeller Institute, Simon Flexner, that he and his colleague, Paul Lewis, had isolated a pathogen invisible to the eye, smaller than bacteria, which claimed that it was a paralyzing sickness in a series of outbreaks in the United States. How did they come to this idea? Well, in a paper published in 1909, the Journal of the American Medical Association, Flexner claimed that he and Lewis had isolated the poliomyelitis virus responsible, and he reported that he was successfully passaged the virus through several monkeys, from monkey to monkey, and they began injecting the diseased human spinal cord tissue from a young boy who had died, presumably from the virus, into the brains of the monkeys, and then after the monkey fell ill, the suspension of diseased spinal cord tissue was then injected into the brains of other monkeys who also fell ill. We're doing, dude. You thought the Dr. Fauci dog's story was bad? Like, there's some really wild shit we do.
Yeah,
The monkeys are the worst because like they share the closest like chromosomes to us. So like it's like the fact, and that's the heartbreaking thing is like they're monkeys have like the closest like eyes to us, and it's just very like if you ever like go to the zoo and you actually see a monkey. There's like a little bit of like share. They're not just like a regular mammal. They're pretty smart.
No, it was really weird. I'll never forget this. I'll never forget this moment. And I don't know if y'all have had this as well. But the last time I went to the zoo with one of my best friends and my sister tagged along as well. We went to the gorilla exhibit. And I'll never forget this. It's the most like non-starter sort of thing. But I was just watching the gorillas, and one of them came and sat like next to where I was watching, and he turned and looked at me. And he looked me in the eye. Have you ever looked at a gorilla in the eye? It's a really weird fucking feeling. It's an incredibly weird feeling. Because it's like, oh my God, you're human, but you're not human. Like, I looked at him in the eye, and I didn't look at him the same way I look at any other animal, really. Yeah, the point was like that's if you ever go to a zoo, just kind of hang out with the gorillas and try and catch one of their attention. It's a really weird feeling when they actually like interact with you. There's like
something about that kind of like
human element.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, like you're it's like you're connecting with the half of your DNA that isn't Anunnaki DNA. You know what I mean?
So let me get you. This is pretty big. So let me get into this. They proclaimed that the Rockefeller Institute doctors had proven that the polio virus causality for the mysterious disease. They hadn't done anything of the sort. Flexer and Lewis even admitted that we failed to utterly discover bacteria, either in film preparations or in cultures that could account for the disease. And since among our long series of propagations of the virus in monkeys, not one animal showed in lesions the I can't pronounce his medical whatever they're going to
Hold on, where?
Cocky. They're doing the
Kochi.
Coochie. Okay,
Coochie. It's Coochie. Yeah.
Coochie. I'm calling it Coochie.
We are medical professionals!
Described by some previous investigators, we had failed to obtain such bacteria from the human material studied by us. We felt that they could be excluded from the consideration. What they then did was to make a bizarre supposition, a leap of faith, not a scientific claim. They took their hypothesis of a viral exogenous agency and made it a fact with no proof whatsoever. They asserted, therefore, the infecting agent of epidemic polio belongs to the class of minute and filterable viruses that have not thus far been demonstrated with certainty under the microscope. Therefore, they simply asserted that it must be polio that is killing the virus, that is killing the monkeys.
After little did he know that the actual culprit
and putting
little did he know that
yeah.
Little did he know that the actual culprit for the killing the monkeys was actually Israel, actually. Yeah.
I mean, there's another connection I'm kind of like trying to make here. But this so-called virus they were injecting into monkeys is hardly pure. They were taking it out of the spinal cord of one monkey, injecting into the brain of the other over and over and over again. That doesn't sound like gain of function research.
That actually sounds like Attack on Titan, to be honest.
Yeah, it sounds kind of cool, actually. Not really.
Man, you don't want to be the Beast Titan? I'd love to.
You watch The Boys? You watch The Boys by any chance?
Yeah, of course.
I'm only on season 4. I just started season 4, so don't spoil me.
I'm gonna be honest.
So
the latest.
Is it terrible? It's
the
terrible.
latest season has just gotten really like shit libby political. It's a little weird because they have like they've got Homelander who's doing the whole like Trump MAGA thing, but then they've got this other chick who's like kind of a sociopath, but she pretends to just be like weird and aloof.
The intelligent black woman.
Sort of, yeah.
No, there's a woman. No, there's a woman. There's like a.
Oh no.
I forgot her name.
She's working with Homelander. I forget her name too, but yeah, she's like the master. She's like Elle from Death Note, kinda.
Okay. But I'm not going to read this whole thing though. It kind of goes into a lot of like the history of just like creating virology. A lot of us are like kind of like already kind of like familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really great read by Vanessa Beeley. She even goes into like the medical and like chemical warfare used during World War II.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is like, this is all connected. It's all connected. And you can see how polio itself, although you would think it is kind of, like a naturally occurring virus, the basis of that is actually not that true.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the connection to Israel I make here. I need you guys to watch it. And I want you to thank, your fellow Israelites for creating the COVID vaccine, for helping battle COVID and help you lock down in your house for 3 years.
In the global fight against COVID-19, the Jewish people, who make up a tiny percentage of the world's population, have had an outsized impact in the difficult battle to protect lives. As scientists, chief medical officers, and top healthcare officials. Yet the contributions of one extraordinary person tower above the rest. That extraordinary person is Pfizer Chairman and CEO, Dr. Albert Bourla. Dr. Bourla led his team to deliver a COVID-19 vaccine in record time, while taking a risk by declining U.S. federal funding to avoid government bureaucracy and expedite vaccine.
Dude, you just have to go into like the history tab on Wikipedia, and that's it.
Production. A child of Holocaust survivors from a Greek Jewish community destroyed by the Nazis. He's proud of his Jewish heritage, is active in Holocaust remembrance and education, and a strong supporter of Israel, which was the first country outside the U.S. to receive the Pfizer vaccine and the antiviral pill.
That's where all the testing happened. That's where the initial test was. They were the first ones to get it.
Also, just as a disclaimer, I'd just like to make, I'd like you guys to chew on this for a second. Just chew on it. Anyone can convert to Judaism. Anyone. You can just convert, which is why a lot of these people's surnames are not very Jewish.
It's not even necessarily Jewish. It's like a lot of these people have connections to, like, direct connections to Israel. It's not. That's not that's not good. Yeah.
I think the reason why you can convert to it is because what they mean by Jewish is just Zionist. I think that's kind of like what it actually, at this point, like.
No, there's different sects. There's different groups of Jewish, like they're. It's like any religion; they're all fighting each other. So
no, of course.
Yeah. So I mean.
But like it goes with this whole like we need to, like the thing they're doing to kind of shield themselves from any kind of criticism for what they're doing to the Palestinians. They're like, it's anti-Semitic. It's if you criticize Israel, it's anti-Semitic. But anybody can kind of just convert to this. I think it's just a big front. I think they're just using Jewish people to like completely mask the Zionist like undercurrents, I guess.
You're saying this video?
Yes, exactly. No, I'm kidding.
I mean,
I went on a
agree.
tangent there that didn't really make like a lot of sense in the context, but I felt like I had to blurt it out. These are the thoughts that go through my head on a daily basis. Anyway.
Okay.
Let's
The world
continue
is
before we start
infinitely
talking
better
about
off
stuff.
with Dr. Borla helping lead the charge to save lives. With more than 2.5 billion Pfizer help is certainly not receive the Pfizer vaccine ordered Greek Jewish community destroyed by the Nazis. He's proud of his Jewish heritage, is active in Holocaust remembrance and education, and a strong supporter of Israel, which was the first country outside the U.S. to receive the Pfizer vaccine and the antiviral pill. The pandemic is certainly not over, but the world is infinitely better off with Dr. Borla helping lead the charge to save lives. With more than 2.5 billion Pfizer vaccine doses already distributed. Because of Dr. Borla's extraordinary contribution to humanity as the world battles the worst health crisis in 100 years, Dr. Albert Bourla has been selected as the recipient of the 2022 Genesis Prize, the Jewish Nobel Prize. Thank you, and congratulations, Dr. Bourla.
Okay.
Thanks so
I
much,
see the ending of
Dr.
that.
Borla. You're based, man. You really did like us a solid there. I personally like when he reported that it was 100% effective at preventing transmission. That was a really responsible thing for a person to post on Twitter. That was great. That definitely didn't lead to people like making the wrong call when it came to a medical decision about their bodies. Thanks, buddy. That was fucking dope.
I saw.
Holy shit!
I saw something
BB
like
made
94% of the population is vaccinated or something. They're like a super high vaccination rate. Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
Do you remember that weird psyop where it was like you're not a leftist unless you get the jab? Do you remember that bullshit?
Why is it like this?
Just for the record, y'all, I'm as left as they come. I'm a proud Marxist. And zero. That would have been different if I lived in Cuba. Probably would have gotten all of them.
Yeah, I would have gotten the commie vaccines.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude, fuck yeah. Jab me up with those commie vaccines. I'm doing that.
Fred Edward, BB made a financial deal with Pfizer to experiment on his population. Pure evil.
Yeah, no, it's actually pretty bad. They like they have 10 times the vaccination rate than us. But
yeah,
that article's old. It's from COVID. They have they're like a center of like medical experimentation. And I'm gonna hold on.
Yes. Yes.
It's called bioconvergence in Israel.
I made that point. I've been making that point for so long, my dude. Amazing how much evil you can do when it's done in the name of God. Religion has been used for a shield to commit atrocities for centuries upon centuries.
Yeah. Now I just want to share this because like this is just like to highlight the medical industry in Israel, like where like this is coming from. And I do want to kind of like get like more into this at some point, like more into like the transhumanism and like that kind of like more like deeper shit like investigation. Because like this is a really like just real shit. I mean, we're already like technically cyborgs with our attachments to our phone being like literally everything.
I have glasses. I'm basically a robot.
Yeah, I mean that's you're like half a cyborg. You're like a quarter of a cyborg.
I'm basically Adam Smasher.
You require like you basically require like a material. I mean, I don't know how electronic, but if imagine you were wearing Google glasses.
I'm never taking part of that. Sorry. Never doing the Google glasses thing. That is just an excuse for.
I wouldn't either.
That's just scary.
I would not
That's
either.
scary, y'all. Don't do that. It's scary.
Yeah. Watch this. This is. You want to see something? This is scary. This is scary.
The medical revolution is in full swing. All fields of medicine are changing, improving, renewing. The past year showed us that the growing need for innovative technologies used in developing more precise, personalized medicines and treatments is already becoming reality. Among the leaders of this revolution is Israel.
Great. Awesome.
Israeli high-tech environment is one of the leading environments or ecosystems that can enable this.
We have some of the best scientists in the world.
People think outside the box, look for creative solutions to problems.
Yes, Israel is an international center of innovation with groundbreaking technologies in health, in cyber, in smart transportation, and alternative energy. Israeli innovation in the field of personalized medicine combines biology and engineering. It's called bioconvergence. What exactly is bioconvergence?
Biomics is the only clinical stage phage company out there that targets chronic indication. We deploy phage, which are viruses that infect specific bacteria.
Developed a small camera that is implanted inside a patient's eye. Our technology translates light and optical signals into electrical pulses that enables vision.
Yeah.
What?
They're doing this.
They're just trying to slip this in. Did you notice that? They're just trying to slip this in.
Yeah. They're working
doing
on
this big buildup of like Israel's base. They're doing good science.
Did you see Elon's brain chip yet?
Of
the
course,
guy playing.
but
Did you see him playing Minecraft with just his brain?
Yeah.
The dude's playing Mario Kart now with his brain.
Oh,
he has no hands.
Listen. I'll be the first one to say, guys, don't take me wrong here.
Yeah.
If we didn't live under capitalism, I would be so excited for this shit. I'd be so excited. Oh my God, I would be
Camera that is
twerking on the
implanted
rooftop.
inside a
Dude.
patient's eye. Our technology
we live under capitalism, which means that there isn't going to be a good use for any of this. It's just going to be used to suppress the proletariat.
It's going to be really expensive, and there's going to be like no access to it anyway. But like either way, it's like this is technology that's being used to like not just genetically modify you, like physically modify you.
translates light and optical signals.
I guess genetic is also physical, but but Israel is the they're leading the charge on all of this.
Into electrical pulses that enables vision to the patient.
The technology that we have developed is under the title bioconvergence.
We have chemistry, engineering, biology, immunology.
Precise Bio biofabricates tissues from human cells. We take 3D printing and we combine this together with the biology, which essentially brings us the capability to fabricate the tissue in the same anatomical structure as it is in the human body.
And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Because when you're able to collaborate with multidisciplinary capabilities like ICT, big data, machine learning, and artificial intelligence, then you can create integrative, creative, and innovative medical solutions.
The Israel Innovation Authority creates national national and international networks and provide with funding to initiate projects.
Many of Israel's startup nation streams parallel Jefferson streams.
Because of Israel's exceptional innovation ecosystem, we've developed a series of creative partnerships across a spectrum of Israeli institutions.
So let me ask you a question. If Israel is at the forefront of bioconvergence, with the world's most advanced technologies and some of the world's leading medical research centers, and when $40 billion worth of worldwide profits from medicine stem from Israeli inventions, can you afford not to be here?
I think I can. I think I can.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm so fucking good.
I'm good.
You genocidal monsters.
I think I'm
good.
I think I'm gonna pass. I think I might pass on this one. I think it's great. Honestly, you're giving people eye vision again. You're giving people vision again. Literally giving you a robot like arm.
Cameras in your eye.
I think I'm good. I think that's like you're literally like Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh. Fucking crazy shit. Crazy shit.
I'm not gonna lie. But it's depressing, not uplifting, that Israel has this degree of capability when it comes to innovation. Because I know what they do with innovation. We're all seeing what they do with innovation. We're all seeing it in real time. All I can say is Nuremberg 2.0.
Yeah, with the AI targeting that they're using to target Hamas.
Oh, hey guys! Who can tell me what that AI targeting? Can someone tell me the company responsible for that? Does anybody know the company responsible for the AI targeting that they're currently using on Palestinians? Yes, crap.
Palantir.
Okay, Palantir. That's interesting because that's a correct answer. So are there any presidential candidates currently that are involved with anybody associated with Palantir?
That guy from Oklahoma or whatever the fuck.
Oh, the guy. So he's got to be. He's got to be a Democrat, right? Because he's like
no, he's a Republican. He's a Republican for sure.
Oh, he's Donald Trump's vice president.
Yeah,
right.
He's got investors from Peter Thiel. Wait, and he doesn't Peter Thiel? He has investments in Rumble.com.
Right,
the one that we're streaming on right now.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my God. But it's okay, guys. Trump's gonna drain the swamp right after he.
What exactly? I'm actually
puts you in a pod and
what happens.
The bugs.
I am actually kind of concerned what happens. He's from Ohio, not Oklahoma, but I'm kind of just concerned what happens after Rumble posts in a Trump presidency. Because let's face it, I don't think Kamala has a chance. I don't know about you, but I don't think Kamala has. We'll get to the electoral shit later, but I don't think Kamala has a chance. Trump is your next president. I could be biased. I don't know, but this is just I think a lot of the hype is fake right now. I will get into that later, but what happens in a Trump presidency, and we have to talk shit about the president on Rumble.
That's going to be really interesting because is Rumble going to?
Are we going? Is it going to abide by its free speech principles and not censor
exactly?
I'm curious to see what happens. I want to know what happens. I do want to know what happens.
That's the exact thought I had. It's Rumble, you're all free speech. Because here's the thing, guys. All these pro-free speech, right-wing motherfuckers, They become fucking Twitter Karen wine moms the second you criticize their guy. Go look at Libs of TikTok. We covered this on Politically Homeless. Go look at Libs of TikTok. Go look at all these big right-winger accounts. The second anybody had some opinions about the Trump assassination, which I think was a total fucking psyop, because it was. I don't know people who don't arrive at that conclusion. I don't know what you're thinking. It was bullshit, of course, but okay. The second anybody had some opinions, all of these free speech warriors started running cancel trains and doxing these people and getting them fired from their jobs. So, I've said this forever. Neither of these factions, the liberal and the conservative faction, neither of these factions in the West in general, Canada, America, UK, any Western country, none of them have any convictions. The only thing they care about is, does this benefit my team? And I would predict that the second we get possibly a second Trump presidency, on paper it looks like that would be better for the establishment, because here at Politically Homeless we don't buy into this whole electoralism shit. Okay? All right, this is pro wrestling. They pick a spokesperson to represent the ruling class, and then they just keep doing whatever the fuck they're doing. Okay? Trump beating out Obama's drone strike record proves that. Okay? Nothing ever fundamentally changes. But it's going to be interesting in a Trump presidency if Rumble's going to stay the course, or if they're going to start clamping down on people talking shit about Trump. My gut tells me that's
yes.
Probably not, because I think Trump, and again, I'm just looking at this as a Marxist who's completely outside of this bullshit, right? Trump's supposed to be the heel. He's supposed to play the heel. Okay? He's supposed to be the bad guy. Because at the end of the day, regardless, look at what Trump did during his.
No, I'm pretty sure they've already accepted that Trump is the next president. I don't think they've kind of already conceded to that. Kamala was such a last minute option. Obama didn't want Kamala, but let's not get off on a tangent. I do want to finish. I do want to say, we put in the title the rape story, the Israeli rape story.
This is fucked up.
What's fucked is we have 8 detainees, Israeli detainees. I'm not even sure how much we've covered it on this channel on IndieNewsNetwork, but we're not on Rumble. We're not on Rumble stuff. Really? Did I put it incorrectly? Damn. Well, I'll just upload it later.
Hold on, I'm Googling what is Twitch. Kidding.
No, we're live on Rumble. We're on Rumble.
Ew, turn off the volume. What the fuck, man?
But now we have, so the 8 detainees are, they're on trial, because they have to at least look like they have some sort of a justice system over there. This is a war crime. This is definitely a war crime. But now we have CCTV footage of it.
הנה כאן קבוצה של חיילי המילואים מכוח 100, יחידה המשמשת להבטחת המתקן. הם לוקחים את המחבל, הנה הם כאן בפינת המתקן, כנראה מודעים למצלמות האבטחה ומנסים להסתיר מעשיהם במגינים. הצילום כולל תיעוד של העבירה מיוחסת לאנשי המילואים, מעשה סדום בנסיבות אינוס. שעות אחר כך פונה המחבל לבית החולים מדמם. הפציעות שלו הוגדרו מורכבות. הקביעה הרפואית חד משמעית. הפציעות נגרמו מהחדרה של חפץ. חמאס שוכבים על הרצפה כפותים, עיניהם כוסות. הנה כאן...
But you can see it. They're using a shield to block the way, but there's nothing else that could be happening there. So, how would, besides putting them on trial, we have mainstream Israeli television. Not just justifying it. This is a wild clip. This is one of the craziest things I've seen, and I've seen them say some wild shit on here, like trying to justify starving babies. This is kind of crazy.
שבגדול זה מעניין את העכוז, לא מה עושים לבחורצ'יק הזה.
מה? זה מה שבאמת מעניין אותך?
חד משמעית. אני אתן לי אני אסביר.
חיילים שמבצעים עבירה, חשודים בעבירה של אינוס, בעצור כפות. זה לא מעניין אותך?
יפה.
לא מעניין אותך תואר המידות של החיילים שלנו? אגב, אלה לא חיילים, אם הם עשו את זה, הם לא חיילים, הם עבריינים.
בגדול, עוד פעם, זה מעניין לי את העכוז מה עשו לאיש חמאס הזה. אני כל הזמן זוכר, קודם כל, הדבר היחיד שמבחינתי הוא בעיה פה, זה שזו לא איזושהי מדיניות מוסדרת של המדינה להתעלל בצעירים. כי בגדול, זה גם, קודם כל מגיע להם, וזה אחלה נקמה שאנחנו צריכים לתת להם. ודבר שני, אולי זה גם ישמש אותנו קצת יותר כהרתעה. זאת אומרת, ברגע שהצד השני, שצריך לזכור, ג'וש, וצריך לזכור את זה טוב טוב, ולא להתקהות ולא להתקרר אף פעם. האנשים האלה קשרו 30 מבנותינו על עצים ב7 באוקטובר, ועשו להם מעשים לא פחות חמורים, אני לא רוצה בכלל לעשות השוואה, חמורים בצורה קיצונית. אז קודם כל, זה...
So, I don't know if you guys were able to read what he just said. He's not just upset that these people are on trial for literally getting caught on their own camera raping a detainee. But he's not upset that it's not policy of the IDF to rape detainees. He's upset that it's not that the war crime that they're doing is not like foreign, policy that Israel operates on. Because
it's literally like war crime. It's an outrage of sadism. It's like we're not fulfilling our psychopathic desires enough. It's not enough to kill these people. We need to dehumanize them and take their power away as much as possible before we kill them. This has gotten to the point where it's like Max Dark Triad shit. And the fact that we can't even have protesters fucking speak out about this without getting scolded, we'll get into that later, is atrocious.
זו נקמה ראויה מאוד, רק חבל שלא עושים את זה בצורה ממוסדת כחלק מתקנון.
An institutionalized way of regulations.
כי אז החבר'ה הבאים שיחשבו לעשות לנו 7 באוקטובר יגידו...
And he justifies it by citing 30 women, 30 girls that were tied up, which never happened.
אתם רואים מה עושים להם בישראל? אל תחשבו על זה בכלל.
קודם כל, צר לי שהדברים האלה בכלל זוכים משידור ניב, כי מה שעושה פה שלנינגר זה פשוט הסתה לאלימות. הסתה לאלימות.
אוי,
האיש הזה...
ממש הסתה?
האיש הזה עכשיו תמך בעבירות של אינוס,
של מחבלים נוראים, אנשי חמאס שרוצים להרוג גם אותך ולכפות אותך ולתקתק אותך כמו שהם.
אני אחדד את זה רק אני חושב שהוא לא, אף אחד פה לא, בטח אני חושב, ג'וש לא רוצה להגן על התועבה.
אני חושב שהמסרים
האלה. השאלה היא, האם ראוי שחייל צה"ל בכל נסיבה שהיא יחדיר חפץ חד לאחוזו של אדם?
שמדובר בחמאסניק, איש ששרף פה ילדים, שאנס נשים, שכל הרעיון שלו הוא לקחת כל אחד מאיתנו, לזרוק אותו לים ולעשות בו את המעשים הכי קשים, זו הנקמה שהם צריכים לקבל, ויותר מזה זה צריך להיות כוח הרתעתי. עצוב לי שהדברים של ג'וש...
רגע, הוא לא אמר. איך עצוב לך כבר? הוא לא אמר.
So he's completely deflecting the question. He literally just asked him straight, point blank. He asked him, is it okay to stick a sharp object into a person's anus at any point today? To do to
ראוי שחייל צה"ל
who likely has no actual connection to a crime, or is Hamas. Is it okay under any circumstances? And the guy deflects by saying, you know, the people who did this, they did that, things that are completely made up.
מחלישים את העם, האויב רואה, רואה כמה אתה רופס, וכמה אתה רוצה להתהג עוד פעם.
Sorry, pause for a second.
Sorry.
Just want to reply to this. Okay, real question, Loves. You're smart and can think outside the box. Why are we being shown this? I ponder this all the time. It can be real and horrific, but what does continued exposure do to us when we have no power individually to stop it? I'm obviously not in the mind of people with terminal psychopathy or antisocial personality disorder, but I would wager it's to, if you put me on the spot, it's because they are trying to normalize this. That's what I think is happening here. I think they're trying to normalize it. I think they're trying to desensitize people to it.
That there is a point to that.
Like, it would all get swept under the rug and hidden if they didn't want you to see it. They want you to see it. They're not pretending the genocide isn't existing. They're all acknowledging it. All of the big players. But they are signaling
one thing I recommend is
they're not able to do anything about it.
So Joseph Plummer, he's the guy who wrote Tragedy and Hope 101. Do you know Tragedy and Hope? The original book. This is the summary of it. So Tragedy and Hope is like that's like the conspiracy theories like favorite, like, you know, intro to like how the United States and like the Fed was created and shit like that. So like Carol Quigley, he was an autobiographer, but he just made a biography about like all of his like you know, escapades with secret societies and shit like that. And he just wrote books about it, like point blank, like not like with any opinion. He just documented it and wrote it. And so Tragedy and Hope is like it's like thousands of pages long. But it's like it's kind of like a summary of like all of that. But like Joseph Plummer, he summarizes it, and this is a very popular book. It's like a shortened version of it. I would this is definitely a recommended read. But also in Pick Your Pieces, he talks about how a lot of like the negative exposure to like make you like kind of believe that you're like in some kind of like unregulated dystopia where you're essentially powerless. I mean, to be fair, like it's kind of like always been the case. I mean, you've seen that like for decades at this point, where like whether we're talking about like Vietnam, a lot of people were saying like this is like Joe Biden's Vietnam. I mean, it's like history kind of repeats. I mean, and you can go back to like even like the feudal era, where like this like class system is kind of like always existed for like not even decades, hundreds of years. So it's not like anything's like new. The only problem is that it's like on our phones and it's like directly in real life. I mean, I think that's definitely a factor of it. But like, this is a good recommended read for people who feel like they're getting like exposed to like too much shit. I get it. I see this shit every day, and it's fucked. It's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they brought on the guy. They brought on the guy who was in that video raping the detainee. He's on trial right now. They brought on like a wanted, like he just got released. And here, like, this is a 10-minute long segment. Go watch this if you haven't. But I'm not going to play this whole thing.
לא נאנס על ידינו. שום דבר גם לא הוחדר לו.
אתה אומר שאתה בכלל לא יודע. יכול להיות שהיה אירוע שאתה בכלל לא מודע אליו.
אין דבר כזה. באירוע הזה עצמו, שאני יכול להגיד לך שבתור עשרות מחבלים עברו. אין מציאות כזאת שעשה מעשה כזה. בצורה כזאת, אין מציאות כזאת. אנחנו עובדים עם גז מדמיע, אנחנו עובדים עם שוקרים, אנחנו עובדים עם כלבים שהם הדבר הכי מפחיד אותם, את המחבלים, זה הכלב עם הזמם עדיין, אנחנו לא משסים כלב בלי זמם, בלי המחסום פה שלו.
רגע, אבל סליחה על זה, עושים בדיקות פולשניות למחבלים?
המחבלים עוברים בדיקות לא בצורה נחמדה, בוא נגיד את זה ככה. אנחנו נועדנו להיות כוח התערבות, נועדנו להיות כוח שיהיה הרתעה עליהם. אנחנו באים ברעש, נכנסים ברעש של רימוני הלם, לפעמים גז. הנביחות של הכלבים גורמות להם לרעוד. הם רועדים.
בדיקות פולשניות להם?
חוץ מבדיקות כאלה בידיים, שום דבר של להוריד את התחתונים או להוריד מכנסיים, אין דבר כזה אצלנו בנוהל. אין דבר כזה, זה מצולם, הכל נמצא, אנחנו כל הזמן...
My man is on camera. On his own CCTV footage.
העבירה מיוחסת לאנשי המילואים, מעשה סדום בנסיבות אינוס. שעות אחר כך...
Dude, come on.
תחת פיקוח, כל הזמן מודעות.
By the way, this is the guy.
משטרה הצבאית. התייחסו אלינו ממש...
Unmasked. Because of course, it's Israel. You have to conceal the identity of like actual criminals. He literally looks like a terrorist. He does look like a terrorist.
ממש יפה. כן? באמת, כולם, אתה רואה את התמיכה, הם עושים את העבודה שלהם כי הוא חייב להגיד לך כנס, תעשה, אבל הרגשת את הנשמות של הבנות שם, של הקצינים, של החיילים, כולם עם יד על הלב, כאילו אומרים לך תודה, אבל הם לא יכולים להגיד לך, אתה מרגיש את זה, היה יום שמחאו לנו כפיים ככה מהצד מדקיות, מה אני אגיד לכם? אני מקווה מאוד, בעזרת השם.
That's enough of that, but how do you fix a society like this? You can't just let that keep going and then just have a culture that's infected with that kind of mentality and then just how do you fix that?
You don't fix it. At that point, you don't fix it.
So just nuke Israel?
Ideally, yeah. No, I'm kidding. Here's the thing. There is a core issue. I just gave.
We can do a coordinated strike that protects Gaza and the West Bank and all the surrounding areas, and then just throw a bomb on Israel and just reset.
So Israel's a product of imperialism. What is imperialism a product of, Greg?
Major proxy of imperialism.
Mm-hmm.
It's an extension of the imperial octopus guard.
Is imperialism a higher form of something? Yes, Greg.
Capitalism.
Thank you.
I think a guy
this all comes from fucking capitalism because of course it does. Because
didn't the guy write a book, something like that?
Yeah, I think I think it was Sun Tzu, right? Sun Tzu, Sun Tzu wrote imperialism, the lowest form of capital. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. I'm an expert in theory. Yeah, join the American Communist Party.
Are you ready to get into some electoral bullshit? We're gonna have spawn now.
Yeah, let's make fun of this bullshit.
Because I don't think so. Like in my personal opinion, I think both sides are not a great time. And
I think
they're both shitting bed in unique ways. No, sorry. You gotta tell me if I'm interrupting you too. But
no, here's the thing. I agree with you 100%. I think the establishment, because here I'm politically homeless. Like I've said many times before, we don't buy into this whole, we live in a democracy crap that everybody deludes themselves into being in, ignoring all of the red flags in your face. So we're just taking this at face value. we're taking this as like, okay, what is the bourgeoisie? What is the ruling capitalist class? What are they thinking? What's their figurehead? And personally, I don't think the establishment knows. I don't think the establishment knows. I don't think they know what figurehead they're going to pick. And I think both factions are like vying. They're like vying for that spot. Because obviously all of these sycophants, these bootlickers, they get, you know, they benefit from being the faction that the establishment picks to be the bullshit figurehead that's going to carry on the whims of the military-industrial complex, of the pharmaceutical-industrial complex, and largely the globalist bourgeoisie enterprise. I don't think they know who they're going to pick because they got Trump, but Trump's capitalism.
Let's see. Well, I mean, you know, some of the Trumpers are really not having the best of times either.
Yeah, this was an interesting one.
President Trump needs to make. This is from Laura Loomer. This is the Trump, you know, baby. President Trump needs to make some serious changes in his campaign right now. The ground game is not sufficient. The offense is lacking. The communication is dismal. The momentum is crashing. Why are people who want to assist being pushed away instead of being embraced? 89 days left. You need a lot more than just vibes. God only knows how many opportunities you missed. Which, we have to see this debate coming on September 10th. I mean, it depends on I would say that right now Trump is attacking Kamala on like all of the worst issues. It's all cultural shit. It's all cultural bullshit. Like she's not actually black, or like she's like dumb, or like.
It's because here's the thing. I think they don't know this faction of like this audition for which faction is going to get like the figurehead role, which is how I just look at this because I don't buy it. It's all fake and garbage. This faction doesn't know what to do with Kamala because the thing is Kamala's always been like a blank slate. And I think the Trump apparatus, the MAGA apparatus, they were just banking 100% on just like running on LOL Biden's old. Lol Biden's old. Oh my God.
No, I think they knew. I think they knew.
He's brain dead.
They knew. They definitely knew back in like February. Like
no, they definitely knew that.
They knew that the switch was going to happen. The RNC knew the switch was going to happen for sure.
I don't think they fully believed it, based on their reactions, and based on just the molding from Trump himself.
Maybe not the every. No, I'm talking about. Okay, I'm talking about the RNC like insiders, like the people who are like RNC strategists. I really there was like a memo that was being passed around. I remember seeing, but.
That could be the case, but either way, I don't think they know how to deal with the Kamala question mark because she literally is a blank slate. The weird thing is, Kamala Harris now is essentially in the same position, and just follow me for a second before everybody shits their pants. Kamala right now is in the exact same position that Donald Trump was when he ran against Hillary Clinton because he was running as an outsider. He was running as a question mark. You had nothing you could kind of ascertain from Donald Trump. So you could just project everything onto what he's saying. You're like, yep, he's gonna fight for me, he's gonna do X, Y, and Z, because you have no reference point.
But now we know the bullshit. We know it.
Yeah,
we know both of their bullshit.
He spent 4 years doing nothing.
4 years of both of these motherfuckers. We already had 4. Like, isn't that what the democracy is all about? Having two choices that we've already had. No one knew.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that great?
But like the thing is
for accountability. That's the other thing. Like, I mean, there's parts of this that I kind of like, I also observe and kind of agree with. Trump was shot less than a month ago. Nobody's talking about it anymore because like everyone's talking about the switch, which is like probably like a smart move. And so, Harris's honeymoon isn't a honeymoon. I think the hype is kind of fake, to be honest.
The hype's gone now for sure. That's for fucking sure. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But no, like the thing is,
the media.
The thing is, Kamala. Just to finish my point, then we can move on. Kamala's like a blank slate. She's just a VP. Nobody really saw her much. Nobody had any idea what she was talking about. She's just a blank slate. That's how I'm connecting it to Trump. You can just project whatever you want.
She's getting away with FEC violations too. That is true. I've seen that too. So she's getting away with basically voter fraud. I mean, more or less. I mean, she's taking away signatures that were from Biden that you legally can't. In a lot of states, you just can't. A lot of the funding that she's getting is from Biden. That people who didn't vote for Kamala, she's getting money from. So there's a lot of shitty, weird kind of things going on with them.
I think they were going to try. I honestly think they were going to try and just push Biden into the finish line, as basically dead. But let's see. Oh, Fuentes. He is my favorite CIA operative.
Even the CIA is saying that the Trump campaign is in a death spiral. So if the feds are saying that, which I think no, but you have to take it as this is, right? Because if you have federal agents who people who are federal agents saying
Fuentes,
certain things. But you see how you can read what they're saying and then signal that as a predictor of what the establishment's plan is for the future.
Of course, this is the point.
That's the point that I'm trying to grab from this. I want to see this. That's what I'm saying here. Nick Fuentes saying the Trump movement is dead. Signals to me that there's a serious push for Kamala right now, which I don't doubt, because in order to push for the crowds that she's getting right now, she needs to have concerts from popular artists that are in the area in order for people to show up.
Can I give a bit of a quick opinion on this? Here's what I think is happening. I think, and y'all can correct me, I could be completely insane. I am anyway. Here's the thing. I think initially they wanted Trump to push the anti-China Taiwan arc. I don't know if that arc's actually going to happen, because I think the establishment has realized, because don't forget, in that time period, BRICS happened.
They can't beat China. You literally cannot beat China. There's
no
military technology and resources that we depend on them. Where trillions of debt with them. We can't beat. Literally, we would go bankrupt on day one. The moment you declare war on China, you go bankrupt. You run out of all military supplies.
Not to mention, if you look at their tech, China is literally surpassed the West in just tech. They're past us. They have evolved. If anybody's played Civilization, this is the equivalent of we would be on horses with cavalry, and we'd go against them, and they'd have fighter jets. And I think the establishment has realized that, which is why I think they're backing off on the whole we need Trump as a strongman to fuck with China. I think they've admitted. They're kind of they're kind of realizing the elephant in the room that they're not going to win. So now they're going to move back to Kamala and consolidate what power they have. Because guys,
yeah, I really think that they would rather not have a Trump, and they're kind of testing to see if they can really make a good push for Kamala. And I think they think that they could do it, but there's probably that's the thing. I feel the establishment would settle with a Trump if it came down to it. They would settle with it because they know he's safe.
He's safe, and Trump. Here's the thing: Trump's a really good Trump's a really good candidate for the ruling class, because if they have to get their hands dirty, if they have to do any bullshit, they can just have the media attack Trump and be like, oh my God, he's awful. And then they can vote shame everybody, being like, see, you didn't vote for Kamala or Biden enough or Hillary enough. They can get away with some shit. But I think they're starting to realize the shit they want to get away with is not going to go their way. Because I'm convinced that the shit they wanted to do was they wanted to go into like an actual proxy war with China. They wanted to fuck with China because China is starting to produce a W. And I think at this point with BRICS and everything else, they're realizing, oh my God, we can't win this.
Yeah,
there's finally a bigger fish in the ocean. And America
That's what it is.
First off, America doesn't know how to deal with that. There's never been a bigger fish. They're realizing there's now bigger fish. So they're like, crap. Okay.
They're playing, they're walking on ice, but they can. Let's play
They're
this.
like, okay. Yeah. Let's check this out. I gotta pee. I'll be here.
The Trump movement is dead. It's dead. The real shitlords, the real 4chan people, the channers, all the people from 2016 that brought the meme energy are now gone. They have either quit politics entirely, they are liberal, they are Nazis, you know, there's something else.
There are truths to this. Because if a lot of you remember correctly, 2016 was the first election that I voted in. And I remember specifically the reason that Trump got elected was because of memes. I don't think anyone can deny that. Memes elected Donald Trump. And do you see that same kind of things today? There's kind of a point to that.
Else, but they're not on the Trump side. You know who is on the Trump side? GOP shills. You want to know?
It's all neocons now.
Why we're giving this really weak, bitchy, whiny energy on the Trump side? It's because it's all the GOP hacks that were for everybody else in 2016. It's all the plus 35 crowd. They're getting donor money. They have to be careful what they say. They're super cringe. And that's why they're not able to play the same game, because they've alienated everybody. People like the Groypers, it's been made clear that we're not welcome. The GOP and the Trump campaign and that whole scene, they've made it clear we're not welcome. We're too right-wing, we're too edgy, we're never going to infiltrate, whatever. And so instead you got guys like Benny Johnson and Jack Posobiec. We're the new meme lords. It's guys like James O'Keefe and Jack Posobiec. These are your cool guys. James O'Keefe doing a Michael Jackson dance and Jack Posobiec doing White Boy Summer 3 years too late. And Bronze Age Pervert, who's a 40-year-old gay Jew who wasn't even born in America. And that's why this is the energy they're giving. Hey, man. Oh, okay. You're going to say we had sex with the couch? Well, we'll see how you like it.
There's truth. There is I'm seeing that observation as well.
Of course.
The Trump campaign is very, very weak in terms of actually stabbing that, which Kamala can be attacked for a lot of things. A lot of things that would actually, change people's minds on how they vote.
So I just have to apologize first off to Nick, because I'm at least directly responsible for a whole group of your Trump people jumping ship. They're all now communists, because that's kind of some of the work I do. So sorry about that, Fed boy.
Well, I mean, I know plenty of. I don't know about you, but I know plenty of people. I know Bernie people who voted for Trump in 2016. It was like a fuck you vote. I remember that. I know people who did that.
Here's the thing: a lot of
I don't
Trump's
blame them for it. I don't blame them for it. I really don't. I have cousins who I know plenty of people who voted for Trump in 2016 who were like Bernie people.
Yeah. So a lot of Trump's energy in 2016, a lot of his energy was a fuck you to the establishment because they'd rather choose a candidate who isn't like political. He doesn't have any like experience or anything. I know a lot of people who just voted for him or supported him because they just wanted to see the system burn the fuck down and thought he was going to do it. Like he was so bad he was going to just fuck everything up. I know a lot of people also who just were so mad at Obama, Hillary, just the elite that they're like, yeah, I'm going to vote for a fucking con man game show host because fuck you. Like it was a protest vote for sure. But the problem is this time around, he doesn't have that because he was a president and he did, I mean, I've rattled it off before. Did he drain the swamp? No. Did he build his dumb wall? Not that that would even matter at all. No. Did he take out the deep state? No. He sucked the deep state's dick for 4 fucking years. He did everything they wanted him to. He did everything Israel wanted him to. He did absolutely everything. Every single power center wanted him to, and he didn't once threaten any center of power that was worth mentioning. So no, he's not going to have the same momentum this time around because people saw him for 4 years and he didn't do anything he promised he was going to do. He originally ran on the whole, I'm gonna take the corruption out of the system thing. And then for 4 years, he just became the corruption. He worked with the corruption. He loved the corruption. It was the best corruption. So of course it's going to be like lesser this time around because like he doesn't have the same vibes. I would even argue that Kamala has more vibes in that direction just because nobody knows what she supports or anything about her. And she's kind of just a blank slate. She's a question mark.
She doesn't have policy. She doesn't have a policy.
Yeah,
and
she has
doesn't
nothing.
have any policy at all. She has nothing in her policy.
The problem with that is that people can just insert their own hopes and dreams. Same thing they did with Trump in 2016. They can just insert their own hopes and dreams into the lack of knowledge we have about Harris, which I hate to break it to you, it's just going to be more neoliberal bullshit. You're still going to be poor. She's still going to keep doing genocide because she took $5 million from AIPAC. So,
I would love to know what they're doing, what they plan on doing. I would really love to know. There's no way to know. There's still no way to know. And so people are really, psyched over this new Tim Walz pick. I mean, we have people who are really pissing their pants over this. Tim Walz is by far the most Democrat governor. When did this happen?
The most base Democrat governor in the country.
How long ago did she pick Tim Walz? A couple of days ago?
I don't know dates. Every date. It's been a really hard
the days are melting in with me. 2 days ago, right? It's like 2 days ago. Yeah, it was 2 days ago.
Something like that.
So we're having liberals that are pissing their pants over this.
That's hot.
Based Democrat governor, the base Democrat. I just want to can we just with the 1-seat majority, he did universal free legal weed, carbon-free electricity, which doesn't matter. I tax rebates for the working class. It doesn't. Okay, you get a little bit of like a tax break. This is the crumble shit that. Free public college. Is that state? I don't believe that. red flag laws for guns. Let's see majority.
This is the part that I really like about Walz. It's clear that he was willing to put himself on the line politically in a state where there was a one-vote majority. You can see his partisanship, which is an important thing that we have not had in the Democratic Party. He had good ideas. Maybe those ideas are not as good as I would want them or you would want them, but his ideas are pretty good, particularly for Democrats. But we don't need to be afraid of those ideas. We don't need to compromise on those principles, because when we articulate those principles and the Republicans say they're against them, they look like lunatics.
Do you think your record is an asset to the ticket, or would it risk fueling Trump's attacks as you being a big government liberal?
What a monster. Kids are eating and having full bellies so they can go learn, and women are making their own healthcare decisions. And we're a top 5 business state, and we also rank in the top 3 of happiness. If that's where they want to label me, I'm more than happy to take the label.
I mean, that is 10 for 10. This is the part that I really like.
That's a 10 for 10 for him. Free school lunch. Free school lunch and free abortion. That's the 10 for 10. Thanks for putting this together, by the way. For really picking like getting all the tweets out.
No, for sure. This was thanks to you for the idea. This is great.
Holy shit. I can't believe she picked Tim Walz. She's going to win. That's a bold choice. Democrats are never bold. The attitude is even more important than the pick. Even though the pick is excellent. If she's the type who picks Walz, she might even be trying to get things done. She's sympathetic to the Palestinians now. But unfortunately last night...
What?
There was a little bit of a slip. All this energy, where do you think that's coming from?
This has got, okay, so...
this mix of media. Okay.
So, at the ground level, this energy is coming from a working class that is so desperate. And I understand. I'm not sitting here in an ivory tower. I'm a proletarian myself. This is coming from working class desperation, thinking, oh my God, maybe they're finally going to give us some crumbs so we can stop suffering under late stage capitalism. That's the general gist of this shit. But it's desperation. It's emotional thinking. It is absolutely not logical thinking. There's no reason to think any of this based on anything this party has ever done. After Clinton turned the Democratic Party into the Republican Party, which subsequently turned the Republican Party into a bunch of fucking psychopaths because they had to, because the Overton window shift. And that's what you need to understand. Clinton, for all the things that people remember him positively for, he created a...
He's the one that got NAFTA passed.
He shifted the Overton window. So now we're all dealing with the fallout from that.
You were not able to... The first George Bush could not pass NAFTA. He was able to... So, like, Bill Clinton was able to give the... And, like, who wrote Listen Liberal? I forgot already. The author of Listen Liberal, he talks about how Bill Clinton was able to get NAFTA passed through getting his Blue Dog Democrats to give him cover, and then eventually make it okay to pass one of the worst bills passed in human history, in American history.
Thomas Frank,
yeah. Due Dissidents interviewed him a couple times.
Who?
So, Due Dissidents, Russ and Keaton.
Who?
Russ and Keaton.
Oh, the cowbell people. Right.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I love you guys.
No, I know Russ and Keaton. In real life. I mean, I've met them a couple times. In the backyard, backstage. Um, and it was just not even a week later, Kamala is already destroyed. People, what's crazy to me is that people saw this Tim Walz guy, who, by the way, he's not even like exactly the most pro-Israel, like the most like anti-Israel person. Like if we're talking about a ceasefire, he's endorsed by J Street. Like he doesn't have AIPAC money, but J Street is basically it's essentially the liberal version of AIPAC, and he did speak at an AIPAC conference in 2010. He's made statements about Israel that like he supports like two-state solution. He opposes BDS. He supports like the existence of the state of Israel. We just showed you clips about the literally this rogue state operating with chemical warfare and raping prisoners just on their own, no consequences. It's like this is crazy shit going on, and it's the main focus of everyone's attention. And to have any clue or to anything that a Kamala Harris ticket, the cop who got $5 million from AIPAC, would change anything on the foreign policy towards Israel, I don't know what to. That's pretty. And the thing is that all of these people, secular talk, fucking Crystal, Kyle, Chank, Emma,
the compatible left apparatus.
That's what's crazy to me. Like they put all of their credibility for 1 week.
Yeah, because you know where this bread is buttered. They all understand it. Even Hassan, who regularly educates his audience on Marxist-Leninist ideas correctly and speaks of like Marxist principles. At the end of the day, he's just siphoning everybody back into the DNC apparatus. That's it. That's how the game is played. You are so K-hyped, it's wild.
Yeah, that's no, great. It's sad. It's sad. These people really are. They fell in love with. They all became K-hyped overnight over Tim Walz. This is a response. I like beating Republicans, and I earnestly think she's a good general election candidate. Better than Biden or Hillary, which is debatable. Both ideologically for this moment.
What does that mean? I honestly think Biden. Sorry, what does that mean? What does that mean ideologically? Can you explain? What ideology are you referring to? She's literally a question mark. She's a blank sheet of paper. What do you mean ideologically? What has she said? What has she done? What are her policies that we still have no idea about? Just admit you're doing vote blue no matter who, and you're just putting some fucking ketchup and mayonnaise on it. That's all you're doing, Emma. Fuck. Even a dead dog could tell you that. I don't know why I went with dead dog. That was weird. But I never said I was.
So Glenn and Emma went at it with Glenn today, which I'm trying to find. I found what Glenn said, but I want to know the quote tweet that she did. Oh, here we go. I got to pull up, but just for reference.
Her campaign said one thing today, that she opposes withholding weapons from Israel. What? Sorry, continue.
I don't see that anywhere. I don't see that anywhere. That's fake.
Okay.
I'll do research, but here's
He intends
Kamala in response to anti-genocide protesters.
He intends to surrender our fight against the climate crisis, and he intends to end the Affordable Care Act. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that, otherwise I'm speaking.
Oh, no.
I'm speaking. I'm speaking. I'm speaking.
She was a weird
The head tilt
American
killed me. The head tilt, dude.
So
did you see that?
Are you trying to girl boss a genocide, man?
Look. That is some dictator-like shit. That is some crazy shit.
She's literally trying to girl boss a
So
genocide.
this Topher
She's
person
girl
who's
bossing
saying this, they're
genocide.
referring. Her campaign did not say that. She met with the so before this she met with the founders of the Uncommitted movement, and essentially just blew them off. They gave them I could pull that up too. Before a rally in Detroit, Kamala Harris spoke briefly with the Uncommitted movement early this year. They said they were welcoming in line. Communicated to Harris they wanted to support her, but her voters wanted her to consider an arms embargo immediately. And Harris listened to the stories of people in Michigan and people killed in Gaza. The leaders asked me with her about the embargo request, and she indicated that she was open to it. And introduced 2 leaders to her staff. I don't know what that sounds like to you, but that sounds kind of like a where we'll consider it kind of thing, which is what they do in Washington all the time.
Thank you for your feedback.
The head tilt girl boss.
Intends to end the Affordable Care Act. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that, otherwise I'm speaking.
What do you think what do you think she's going through her head right now? Staring into the crowd, knowing that she just did that, and she got like a huge cheer out of that.
I think she's kind of like, fuck, I hope.
The fact that she got applause after that is the craziest part.
I think she's like, I hope that actually landed. And I hope I'm not going to get in shit for it. And I hope AIPAC likes me better for it. Tee-hee, ooh-woo.
Here it is from multiple angles.
Tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations. He intends to cut Social Security and Medicare. He intends to surrender our fight against the climate crisis. And he intends to end the Affordable Care Act. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that, otherwise I'm speaking. Tax breaks to billionaires and big.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that didn't go over so well with the KI crowd. They really kind of flubbed this one up. Like they put all their bets in on 1 week, 1 week of hype, and knowing Kamala, they thought that she wouldn't drop the ball, but within a week she dropped the ball. And these people, they're saying shit like this now: vote however you want, but you say stupid shit like Harris and Walz is bad, Trump bad, and Trump advantage. It's clear you're not a serious person. What does that mean?
They don't mean vote however you want. They mean vote blue. Like, look at this. Vote however you want. But that, for so many things, the second you put a but after it, you're invalidating your original statement. It's like, vote however you want, but the only thing this means is like, vote however you want, but I want you to vote for this person. That's all this means. They're all in the bag for Coconut Lady, Cackle Cop.
Coconut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's bad. Absolutely wild thing to do. And this is 15 minutes away from like the most Arab majority capital in the entire country. Even Emma, who was saying, oh, she's just going to beat Trump, so it's fine. Said, oh, she did that. I'm speaking. That she did famously use with Mike Pence.
Yeah, so all these people, all of these compatible left in like grifter humans, who ironically call everybody else grifters, who don't actually make any money from the grift, but they certainly fucking do.
Well, let's get
Susan,
this is important. I want to add, but Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking.
Yep. Yeah, let's talk about PAC in the court then. Let's talk about the fact. Yeah, I'm about to. $400,000 a year.
He said he's going to repeal the Trump tax cuts.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
Well,
I'm speaking.
It'd be important if you said the truth.
If you don't mind letting me finish, we can then have a conversation. Okay?
Please.
Okay.
She's such a cunt. Holy fuck. Cunty
I'm not
Kamala.
gonna. I'm not gonna.
I hate her. I hate the way that she's just like.
I will say this much.
Such a narcissist.
I will say,
holy fuck.
I will say this much.
Extremely tone deaf.
I will say this much though. I like how we're at least getting to a point in society where women are pushing back on men talking over them. I know that's not relevant, but it's kind of a W because, like...
But she's a powerful woman. She's a powerful black woman.
No, she's a fucking... I don't even think she's a psychopath or a narcissist. I think she's just
No, she has a good heart. She has a good heart.
I think she's just a puppet.
No
she's
children.
A literal... I don't think she even has, like, a center. It's just, like, a void that you fill things into. But I will say, I like that at least we've reached a point in society where women can, like, push back against men talking over them. Because I grew up with that in my household with my parents. My dad just talked over my mom all the time. And it was weird. And I found it weird even as a little kid. But like,
unfortunately, this is how it came off.
Yeah. Okay, well, you can vote for Donald Trump if you want, but I'm speaking. You better get scared. Okay.
So, here comes Glenn with as usual, very the possibly some of the best takes you can find on this website. Online left liberals already extracted all the value there is to get from feigning anger over Gaza. They fortified their radical brand, profited from the traffic, and etc. It was always predictable they would drop it as soon as the election approached and they had to work to elect Dems. Put this over here. It's repellent enough to watch people scream genocide for 10 months, then not even pretend to care about it any longer. It's worse that they'll like outright lie and deceive followers by claiming Kamala said she's open to an arms embargo towards Israel, which is how Emma Weigand, whatever the fuck, reported this as. They're trying to say, people are trying to say she's going to arms embargo Israel. The woman who got $5 million from AIPAC is gonna do an arms. She said she's open to it, which is a very common thing among all politicians who make empty promises.
Of course.
So this got into like a whole debacle, a whole, beef. Thoughts on Trump's position on the genocide?
To be clear, to be fair, okay. So I'm gonna give some charity to the room here. Like, I know we all cringe at people who are like vote blue no matter who, and they're trying to excuse genocide. My personal position is that if someone's in any way enabling a genocide, you just don't vote for them. In fact, you write them off. That is just disgusting and like inexcusable, and you just sever ties from that completely. But the problem we have in this electoral race in the States, this electoral race, what I'm saying is like this pretend like pro wrestling shit we have going on, is that like people are looking at it and they're realizing that Trump is probably going to be even worse with fucking Palestine. I mean, he called Joe Biden a Palestinian as a slur. So there's no like he did that.
He did that to Chuck Schumer too.
Yeah, this isn't like.
But I don't think
it would for that.
No,
It's
but you
not
could
like,
also. I mean, okay. So here's the thing. You could make the case for like either one. Like you can make all these bullshit statements. The reality is that nothing is going to fundamentally change, which both you and I know that. You make it the case for Trump, like he said, he showed sympathy for the Palestinians. He said they were more willing to make a deal with the Israelis. And, but he's off here trying to position himself as the most pro-Israel candidate because he knows that's where the money is. And honestly, it's going to be the same either way. It's not like I don't think Trump is going to be even more genocidal like they're saying. I think it's going to be the same exact policy, which is just unlimited arms. I mean, that's what we're doing right now. What's the worst that Trump could do? Fund a genocide?
That's true. But
okay.
I think the problem. Here's the thing. I think that Trump is going to. I mean, I don't even know at this point. Because, again, all the plans I asserted, at least, that the establishment had for Trump, they're kind of out the window because they just can't fuck with China anymore. They can't, they're cooked. It's done. In a very short period of time, America went from being the superpower to essentially just getting like windmill dunked on, and now the rest of the world is just fucking moving into the future without you. So I don't even know what Trump's game is at this point.
I do think Harris is more movable on Israel than the man who promised to annex the West Bank for Miriam Adelson's money. He did take a lot of the Adelson's cash. And the Peter Thiel Planeteer connection, too.
Yeah, but Kamala also took $5 million from AIPAC. Like, I don't...
So do you see how their only defense is but Trump? You can point out a million connections, but Kamala spoke at AIPAC. So did Trump. Kamala has 5 times the amount of money from AIPAC than Trump does.
Yep.
5. Not 1, not 2, not 3. 5 times the amount.
I will make this argument, though. Look at their net worths. Trump is a billionaire, and he still took $1 million from AIPAC. He could have taken 0. I'll just say that. And I'm just saying that because some of y'all are... I'm just saying that because I know you are...
She's trying to make the argument that Harris will be quote-unquote movable, which I don't think either of them are movable. But I'm saying if you were to make an argument on which candidate is more movable on Gaza, like, you could make cases for either way. But the reality is that nothing changes because it doesn't get any worse than genocide. You can't double genocide. You can't do a genocide times 2.
No, the only candidate who is actually on the right side of history on this issue conveniently has no ability to become a viable candidate. And Jill Stein. And I'll go on the record by saying, I love Jill Stein. I love everything she stands for. But
Claudia De La Cruz, too.
She's not serious.
I mean, it's PSL, but I mean, I like them. They don't have any chance at all. But
I will also
I'm writing
go
an
on record
Afro
by
man.
saying,
I'm actually writing an Afro man.
you should just write in like memes, bro, LOL, and just like hand it in. Like,
I might actually do that.
Actually, you know what? No, just write. This might actually scare them. Just write in, the Bolsheviks won't spare you, and then just hand it in.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine? That would probably actually scare some people really bad. You might actually get a call from the CIA. Be like, what do you mean by this?
So I like this inclusion here. You know, let's wrap it up with a little bit of Caitlin Johnstone. We're getting at 2.5 hours, so let's wrap it up with Caitlin Johnstone here. This is a really great inclusion. I can't really find the words to express how depressing it is to watch life get sucked out of an anti-genocide movement in the United States because one of the candidates running for president this year happens to come from the administration that's overseeing said genocide. From Aaron Bushnell to I'm Speaking.
From Aaron Bushnell to I'm Speaking in 5 months. I can't really find the words to express how depressing it is to watch the life get sucked out of the anti-genocide movement in the United States because one of the candidates running for president this year happens to come from the administration that's been overseeing said genocide. Kamala Harris shouted down protesters against the U.S.-backed incineration of Gaza during a campaign rally on Wednesday, responding to their chants of "We won't vote for genocide" by telling them they're helping Trump win. The Hill reports, quote, demonstrators in the crowd at Harris's Detroit rally repeatedly shouted out as the vice president spoke to an airplane hangar packed with supporters, "Kamala, Kamala, you can't hide. We won't vote for genocide." The crowd booed and drowned out the protesters with chants of Kamala. I'm here because we believe in democracy. Everyone's voice matters, but I am speaking now. I am speaking now, Harris said to applause. As protesters continued to interrupt, Harris delivered a more blunt warning. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that. Otherwise, I'm speaking, she said. End quote. The crowd thunderously applauded the comments from Harris. Social media is full of Democrats sharing the footage of the interaction and fawning over what a commanding girl boss she is. Like I said, depressing. Shortly after Biden withdrew from the race and endorsed Harris, I noted that we were already seeing some strong shut up about Gaza energy from Kamala supporters toward those.
It's like, dude, it was like a hypnosis over the past week. Like everyone just forgot about it. So it was like the laser from the Matrix.
Those on their left.
You could
And
say
since that time,
it was
this
like
phenomenon
mass
has been growing
formation
steadily worse.
psychosis.
Yeah. Something like that.
Now we've got this freakish dynamic where criticizing an administration that is guilty of the crime of genocide will get people telling you, hey, nobody's perfect, like it's some petty little quibble. And I can't help watching all this and wondering what Aaron Bushnell would think. On February 25th, Bushnell self-immolated in front of the Israeli embassy in Washington while screaming "Free Palestine" to draw attention to the horrors his country was helping to inflict upon the people of Gaza. And now, the cause he gave his life for in the most agonizing way possible is being intentionally subverted by people who claim to care about justice and human rights. What would this look like to him? If, before igniting the accelerant, Bushnell had been granted a vision of Harris silencing anti-genocide protesters to the applause of her followers months in the future, would he still have gone through with it? Or would he have cast his lighter aside and collapsed in a fit of despair while Gaza burns, like the rest of us are doing right now? 5 months. In a bit over 5 months, we went from seeing an active duty airman light himself on fire to turn America's gaze toward Gaza, followed by a highly energized student protest movement against their country's facilitation of genocidal war crimes, to seeing those student protests crushed with the approval of the current president, and then his would-be successor telling anti-genocide protesters to shut the fuck up and fall in line so that Democrats can win. Every time a light gets sparked in the darkness, the empire scrambles to snuff it out. Which wouldn't be so depressing if not for all the brainwashed masses falling all over themselves to help them do it. Oh well, the fight goes on. Even if these pricks are going to set the whole world on fire, we can still at least try to make it difficult for them.
So, yep.
That's pretty much it.
Yep. It's some pretty sad realities we're dealing with. I think to witness it in real time is pretty incredible. But
I'm gonna be honest, like, we are in the... I'm thankful for the period that I'm alive in. Because this is like...
It's truly something to witness, actually. It really is.
I lived in the 90s, which I think is going to be looked back as my t-shirt indicates, the greatest. I think the 90s were the peak of humanity. I think now it's just...
Yeah,
we're just going downhill.
We did it good in the 90s. That was I remember, like, I think that's like why...
Bro, GoldenEye? Like,
Millennials...
come on.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, like, as a kid, like, sitting there, like, playing with my Nintendo 64, playing, like, I played, like, Kirby, like, Crystal Shards, and, like, Mario Kart 64, and, like, the Mario Party 2. Dude, like, that's why, like, the millennial generation is so susceptible to, like, this, like, nostalgia marketing.
Yep.
It's manufactured nostalgia because like we're so like we just like all just want to go back to like a simpler time.
We want to go back to a time where the internal contradictions of capitalism have not intensified in the way they have right now, because it is just intensifying.
Read Capitalism Realism by Mark Fisher.
Yep, that, and also read Capital by Karl Marx. But I will say, for all you far lefties, commie curious people out there, and I hope I've converted some of y'all so far, do not like, this is what a lot of people on the far left kind of fall into this trap of. Do not ignore Stalin's writings. I know Stalin's like the quintessential like bad guy when it comes to like communism and shit. Do not ignore his writings about communism and all that, because like, here's the thing. Stalin had an incredible ability to break down the very complicated and daunting aspects of Marxism into things that are digestible by people who like make it confused or like put off by like how daunting reading something like Capital would be. So check out some of Stalin's writings too. It's fucking decent. And even if you don't agree with like how he ran the USSR, that's fair. But his writings about Marxism are pretty good to digest because he wrote it in a very like, he's kind of like
Engels too.
Engels as well, absolutely. But like, he's kind of like a Richard Wolff type, where he's like, I'm gonna break this down for you guys because I know
Hugo Chavez is good, right? Like a lot of these leaders, like they have books that you can read.
No, but the thing is, they read the books, and the beauty of it is that they learned how to communicate this to the masses because they were forced to, right? Like, I do this in my own community. I'm like a fucking nerdy as fuck theory, bro. Like, my God. But I'm not gonna approach like people in my community that way. I'm gonna break it down. That's how I get conservatives to accidentally agree with Marxism. I just explain, the concepts, and they agree with it. But yeah.
All right. Well, let's end it here for tonight.
Yeah, this was a long one.
Pretty. How long were you guys going for when you were like, when it was like you and Yeti and stuff?
Oh, we went way longer. It was so much better. It was way better. No, I'm kidding. Brother, I'm kidding. We just did 2 hours. It's
that's what I was watching. I was watching a little bit of it. I was like, yeah. All right.
Here's the thing, he doesn't feed my ADHD in the way that you do. And I feel like I don't feed your ADHD, because we can have a whole show planned, and we can do a solid 30 minutes on shit that isn't even on the itinerary.
Yeah, I know. It's like it just keeps on. We just cycle each other. Yeah, that's why. That's what I noticed. I'm trying to okay, let's not get off track.
No, I don't think it's a bad thing. It's organic. That's what I like. I like the organicness of it. And I think the viewers like the organicness of it. That it's not just like a prefabricated sort of, hey, welcome to our show. We're going to do all this. It's all planned. We're just here shitting and farting and pissing and coming.
Shitting and farting and pissing. That's right. Folks, If there's anything you got to take away from tonight, yes, we do have a Discord. We do have a Discord. I'm gonna link the network.
There you go.
That's a good, smart thing to end with.
What are... No. No. What are you doing? Come here.
Is that it?
What? Oh my god. You're destroying the whole... Get them.
Yeah, that is it. So that's all the links there. Is Discord in there? Screw, I'm gonna get you the link to the Discord. I got you. I know you're in Hardline's
Okay.
Discord, so
Just don't fuck up the curtains, okay?
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. I will. I won't fuck up the curtains. Alright, well. Yeah, my dog needs attention too. He's been staring at me this entire time. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? My dog's been staring at me on the couch the entire time. He's like, why are you just speaking at the computer? And I'm like,
My dog's tired and passed out because he spent the whole day like chasing this one squirrel that I'm convinced is like fucking with him in the backyard. Because I just put him in the backyard all day during the summer, and like this one squirrel is just like, I think he's like,
I wish I had a backyard for him here.
Yeah, he's legitimately fucking with him. Because I just hear him like running back and forth the entire time. Aw.
Dude, he's been staring at me the entire time. Dude, he's looking. He just keeps looking. And he's sleepy now. But
Hey. Oh, now my two cats are fighting.
He keeps looking at me. But all right, I hope everyone had a good night. I hope everyone had a good Thursday. Welcome to the shit show. We're gonna be, keep observing as it goes on, and make sure to watch the other shows. We have the schedule up on Twitter, all that. Put the links down there. Like and subscribe. Do what you can. We'll put up clips later on. But
I'm sorry you guys have to see my face so much on this network now.
yeah,
My apologies.
twice a week, man.
Three.
That's a lot.
Three
That's
now.
a lot of himbo. 3?
Way too much. Well, now we
What are
got
you
the
doing?
Maple Files at
Oh,
on
you're doing Maple
Mondays.
Files once a week now?
Yeah. So
Wow.
everybody's stuck with seeing my shitty face a lot. So sorry about that. And
It's a lot of
oh my
shitty
god, that's
face.
another cat.
Ew.
Ow! 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 Did you seriously just
All
bite
right.
my? Ow. Okay.